internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Well,
and crypto has certainly caught many's attention, and they've made a lot of money doing it. I have not bought crypto, and now I feel silly. So they've been the ones making all this money on.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. I am just so happy to be a part of this community, let alone what we're about to witness all together. In today's episode, while you heard that intro, that's a multi-trillion-dollar asset class president. And he's telling you that a lot of people made money, and I don't feel good. He had an opportunity. A lot of people had opportunities. XRP at 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. Bitcoin at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. And now you finally have them coming out and telling everybody to go buy crypto and then they should be allocating 40%. This is disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. Listen to what Mr. Rick Edelman says on CNBC here. And why I say this is disgusting is because it should be 100% allocations into crypto. For the ones that don't know, I've worked in a regulated industry for 10 years in a financial institution, 2 top banks, and we did private banking. I worked with advisors. We managed millions of dollars. And when these individuals want to come out here and speak like this in 2025 and tell everybody to put 10 to 40% into crypto, it's so funny. It's so funny because this is what I mean by we are different. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to stroke your ego, but I'm just telling you that we saw this before the other side. We saw through the bullshit that they were doing, trying to ban Bitcoin, trying to ban crypto. It was never going to get banned. It was just all FUD. And that's why I tell you guys that we are not the same. We are not your average individuals. We understand this to the fullest. And then I just want to play this video that I've played many, many times, but just off of YouTube and just to show you how many views it has, right? 715 views. And this is from Paul Brody. I'll play it in a moment. Keynote, the regulated era ahead. 715 views. And there are billions in the world. And they're telling you what's happening. They're telling you what's coming. But just listen to this part right here. I find this very comical because they're still not being transparent. They're still trying to play it safe when they know, maybe he may not know, but man, it's going to get wild.
Today, I'm saying 40%. That's astonishing, right? Yeah. Nobody ever anywhere has said such a thing as what I'm saying now. Why the shift? It's because of the massive change in the evolution of crypto that we've enjoyed in the past 4 years. 4 years ago, we didn't know if governments were going to ban Bitcoin. We didn't know if the technology would become obsolete. We didn't know if consumers might not want to adopt it. We didn't know if there'd be any institutional engagement. Today, all those questions are resolved. In the Trump administration, in the new Congress, there is massive support for crypto. Every member of the president's cabinet personally owns Bitcoin. Every major economic appointee of the president, the secretaries of Treasury, Commerce, Department of Labor, the heads of the SEC, CFTC, OCC, FDIC, all of them huge supporters of crypto. There's no longer a question as to whether the government likes this or not and is going to support the development. We also now see institutional investors engaging in ways never seen before. Banks are now permitted for the very first time, along with brokerage firms, to trade and custody crypto, which they could never do before. Stable coins are now Goldman calls it the killer app of crypto. We now have a huge array going in, and in fact, the first legislation out of Congress is crypto legislation, the Genius Act. So it has radically changed. It is now a mainstream asset. And we look at the adoption rate, it's still incredibly low. It's only about 5% of the global population that own crypto at this stage. As more and more get involved, learn about it, discover it, and invest in it, we're going to see massive asset inflows. And because, and certainly in the case of Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply asset, the more people who buy it, the higher the price is going to rise.
And you see that at the end, that's just so funny to me.
And because, and certainly in the case of Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply asset, the more people who buy it, the higher the price is going to rise.
People are going to just keep buying Bitcoin. There's going to be demand because people are going to be buying it. Okay, so they're buying this goddamn thing. But what is this doing? What is this Bitcoin thing doing? I own Bitcoin. I'm bullish Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is nothing other than a pet rock. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve anything. Remember, when Bitcoin was designed and was released, it was about to stay away from banks. And everybody that was holding Bitcoin didn't want banks to succeed, blah, blah, blah. And now they want banks to start buying Bitcoin so they could pump their bags so the value could go up. Because there's no really value driver behind it instead of just people parking their money into it. And that is why when XRP, when the utility kicks in and when it's actually used for real economic value, this bad boy is not only going to go to 10, it's not only going to go to 20, it's not only going to go to 30, it's going to keep going as the value on chain grows and the more movement of value occurs. Okay? Wow. Incredible. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but it is truly a very, very, very pivotal moment right now. And we are truly going to see a major, major gap between who's in crypto and who's not in crypto. This is really going to define everybody's entries. And I'm telling you right now, 2026, your accumulation days are absolutely done. It is absolutely done. And just listen to what Brody says here. It's just so important that people are not seeing this.
World. Europe is our single largest market today, and that is all driven by MiCA, preparations for MiCA, right? So many banks are getting ready. Every single day we get a new announcement, major banks offering custody services, crypto assets, multiple banks considering launching euro stablecoins. Right now, 99.9% of all stablecoin transactions are in US dollars. But actually, something like 30% of all global trade is settled in euros. It makes sense if we expect blockchain to become a kind of universal business infrastructure that 99.9% is going to go down, right? And the portion that's settled in euros and yen and pounds is going to start to go up. So in particular, MiCA has been, I think, a really, really positive step. It sets a benchmark. Sometimes online you'll see code are making it there. Now, is it worth anything? Yes, right? This part of the conversation is called the Great Liquidity Reservoir, and I am going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam, because the numbers are just monumental, right? How much money is there? Well, let's start with the most liquid of the liquid, right? Bank deposits, stocks, and bonds. $400 trillion. Right? Certainly more than my current retirement nest egg, and plenty of money to buy you a nice place in central London or San Francisco. Right? 400 trillion. There's another 379 trillion in real estate. Right? Gold is 13 trillion by itself. And then you get to the entire crypto ecosystem is like 2.5 trillion. Right? I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets, right? Not because it's going to grow, it's going to grow by absorbing, particularly on the tokenization side, it's going to grow by absorbing a lot of these other assets that are less liquid or are not currently as easily tradable. Now, today, almost all of that money is sort of locked behind the regulatory dam. And a really good example is pension funds, right? A lot of the world investors today in crypto and digital assets, they're wealthy individuals who used to be wealthy.
The floodgates that we always have been talking about are finally about to be opened. And they're not all going to be opened at once. They're going to be opened in little segments. And July, August, September, October, November, December are going to be so crucial. I can't believe 2026 is around the corner. My goodness, what it has been such a wild ride. And now it's finally all coming to an end. I can't believe we did it, folks. We did it. We held through everything. We accumulated. We saw the bigger vision. And every single individual that has been following our channel are handsomely in profit. And that's a fact. And whoever leaves any sort of negative comment, just remember, we know that you did not accumulate enough crypto. And there isn't many, and I'm just addressing them because this is what I mean. Like the people that don't see this, and don't get triggered when I say this, okay? The people that don't see what's coming, and I'm gonna say this again. The only people that get triggered when I say this are the ones that don't understand what's coming. So you're just calling yourself out in the comments when you leave comments. But the people that really don't see this coming and that don't think XRP is going to go to $10 and $20 are truly idiots. Because not only they don't want to do the research, and it's all there. It's a math-based currency. We have calculated this in so many different ways. Regardless of the price, just remember, always come back down to how we are the pioneers in this ecosystem. One day, we're all going to die. And the foundation that we built is going to be handed over to the next generations, our grandchildren, our children. And just know that we held at ground zero of a brand spanking new financial infrastructure where everybody said it wasn't going to work out. Okay, just remember that we're all going to die one day. We were the early adopters, right? So it's like the individuals back in when light bulbs were created and microwaves were created. Those OG individuals aren't here to tell their stories about how that happened, right? And we're going to be those individuals. We're never going to be talked about. Well, the XRP community will be talked about for many years, because when it flips Ethereum and Bitcoin 100%, they're all going to come back and watch our videos, our tweets, because we saw it first. We understand it. That's the best part. It's the lack of education is getting in people's way, and the lack of ignorant people trying to really understand this. Again, there's a few of us. So with that being said, I do appreciate every single one of you guys, and we'll be back with another video.
Up this morning, check my bags on the chain. XRPL still humming while the FUD folks complain. Ripple fighting Goliath, yeah, the SSA's game. But Johnny D and Hogan, they're bringing the flame. So we salute to the rebels in suits, to the coders and hodlers wearing dusty old boots. Raise a toast to the ledger and the lawyers who bite, while taco stand dumps through the middle of the night. Damn, Jed, can you chill? Brad G's on the mic saying clarity now, while Shorts codes the stars with the hologram cow watch. The haters keep chirping, but the people ain't blind. This ain't some mean dream, it's the internet's spine. Regulators stalling, but the clock's ticking fast. Ripple drops the case like a baseline blast. Communities united from Twitter to the street. We meme through the madness and never admit defeat. Yeah, we salute to the devs and the geeks, to the ledger that clears in seconds, not weeks. To D, to Hogan, to legal delight, and the salty old taco that just loves to spite. Hey Jed, you done yet? Or you got another dump scheduled for lunch? So here's to the warriors, the freaks, and the fans, waving salute tokens like battle flags in hand. It ain't just about coins, it's a movement, a pact. We defend what we build, and we're taking it back. Come on, salute to the ones in the fight, to the token that laughs in regulatory spite, to while taco stands always leaving. So strum one for Ripple, one for XRP, and raise your guitar for decentralized dreams. This song's for the ledger, the truth and the proof. With a smile and a nod, we say salute.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.